critical is giving back to the community, paying forward. And so once we kind of made it, and we probably didn't have that much money, but we felt like, well, we got to do something for the community. And so the first thing that we did was we realized that there were not that many Filipino engineers who've been successful in Silicon Valley especially. And in fact, through the first 15 years of Dado's career, he was the only Filipino in his group, pretty much. There were a lot of Filipinos in the line, in the fab line, working in the back, doing, the fabrication work. But as far as engineering and research and design, there was Dado. And there were a lot of Chinese, there were a lot of Indians, but Filipinos, not really. So we felt that our responsibility is to grow our own. So we started a scholarship for Filipino Americans, initially just in Northern California, who would be interested in becoming an engineer or working in the sciences. So we set up the Banata Family Scholarship through Asian Pacific Fund, which we now have currently about 22 students on board. We pick 5 scholars every year, and they get $5,000 a year for 4 years if they continue to be in the field that they started in, and which is very, very focused. It's in engineering. The other thing that we've done is that we work very closely with University of the Philippines. We both are not University of the Philippines alums, but we felt that public education is what we should support because we realize that in the Philippines, private schools are money-making ventures. And UP, which has a very, very good engineering program, needed some support. So we spend whatever time Dado has and I do, we try to push for funding for UP, not only from our family, but also from other people in the Philippines, and also from the government. So lobbying money for them, and so on and so forth. So we have a fellowship program for a professor to come and spend some time at the University of California, Berkeley, with a professor, very focused research program, and they would spend 6 months to a year learning about new technologies or what's new in the curriculum, bring it back to the Philippines, and implementing it at the University of the Philippines Engineering Program. And we have now also, with the help of government and other universities, there's like, is it there eight universities, which is part of this group called ERDT. We're trying to develop more research centers in the Philippines. Because what happens is that we don't really have that many graduate students in the universities in the Philippines because there's no money. And so President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo had released some funds for UP to set up this, and this other 8, the total of 8 universities, to set up more research programs and develop more graduate students to be able to go to the universities in these 8 universities. And we have first set up a first research center at UP. Again, very focused. It's all on new technology. And we're also encouraging the private sector to participate in this. And what we're hoping for is that when we have a graduate student finish, that they don't just leave the country, that they have a place to go, there's a place where they could do their research work and work with industry to develop new products in the Philippines. What's really sad is that our country has to go out and buy products outside when it's something that we could develop ourselves. And we have so many talented and intelligent people who leave the country because there's no place to go. So that's something that's kind of a dream. It probably won't happen in our lifetime, but we're hoping that we've started something that will continue on and progress. We do a lot of little things. It's all very focused. It's all very science-oriented. And it's The one that we really kind of dear to our heart is this little program that we have in his hometown in Malabak in Cagayan, where we had set up a computer center for the kids. And we have trained teachers, sent them to master's program, in hopes that we can see some of these young kids go into science. And we have a very good science high school in the Philippines, the science high schools right now. Philippine Science High and their regional science centers, which is kind of new to me. It's like now I'm learning all about it. And my friend who's handling our foundation there is saying, you know, it's truly amazing, this little town who, you know, they didn't get electricity until 1969, you know, where Dado came from. And yet these little kids, you know, they're really good at math and science. It's really amazing. And so we're hoping that there's more of these programs that will come about in our country and really, really encourage our young people to stay on and be more productive in our own country.